The video on the third temple will be coming this week sometime. I'm a little backed up, so I just want to touch base and comment on a couple of news stories today. One was the report that Trump has been personally contacting senators about the Matt Gaetz nomination. Apparently, he is quite serious about getting Gaetz in place, which should confirm what we all thought anyway. Trump wants revenge on those in the FBI that he thought were out to get him. Speaking of the people that he wants to be in his cabinet, Trump nominated another Fox host. This time it's Fox Business Network host Sean Duffy. And this again demonstrates that the people Trump sees on TV have an outsized influence on him. That is basically his world. In fact, there were numerous reports during his first term that Fox News used to be on all the time in the White House, and especially in the Oval Office. That is how Trump got his information. In a way, Trump reminds me of another character from a movie about 45 years ago now, a movie called Being There, starring Peter Sellers. In that movie, the Peter Sellers character was named Chauncey Gardner, not because that was his name, but because someone mistook his occupation of being a gardener for it being his last name. Chauncey Gardner was a very simple man who got all his information from TV. But not to ruin the movie in case you haven't seen it yet, Chauncey Gardner would often speak in very simplistic ways that other people would take as profound. And he ended up getting involved with the President of the United States and some other major characters before it being discovered that he was actually a gardener. Now, when it comes to Donald Trump, unfortunately, we're not going to find out that he's simply the gardener, and we can relax because he's going to go back to doing that. But when you do listen to Trump speak, pay attention to how he will often answer questions in very generalized, basic ways. For instance, if he's asked a question about something that he obviously has no idea about, he will say, "We're going to take a strong look at that." But of course, the Chauncey Gardner character in Being There was actually a very genuine and likable man. Quite the opposite from Donald Trump. The other story I was going to mention very briefly was how the Morning Joe team of Joe and Mika traveled down to Mar-a-Lago to try and make amends with Donald Trump. And I get the feeling this is going to happen more and more with the media. They're going to come crawling back to Donald Trump to kiss his ring and try to get on his good side again. Not all media will do that, of course, but I think that we're going to see this with people at MSNBC and CNN and other outlets on the left who for years and years have gone after Donald Trump and now realize that their very livelihoods are at stake. Not only, apparently, is criticizing Trump getting bad for business, but even Trump's FCC pick, a gentleman named Brendan Carr, threatened broadcast media with government regulations to make sure the media is acting in what he calls the public interest. And make no mistake about it, when any of these Trump nominees say anything about the public interest or how the media needs to be fair, they mean that the media should not be criticizing Donald Trump. This is something we should be able to see from a mile away. Because as we know, Donald Trump has an enemies list a mile long, and while we may worry about people like Liz Cheney or others being in the crosshairs of the new Trump administration, Trump and his cohorts will love nothing more than to get some of the anti-Trump media shut down. In the eyes of Donald Trump, there are two types of media. One is pro-Trump, which is good and righteous and true and pro-America, and the other type of media criticizes Donald Trump. And even if that criticism is 100% deserved, the new Trump administration will find a way to shut it down. Thank you for watching. I'll be back this week with the video on the Third Temple.